What's shaking, my St. Louis City fam? I'm your girl Kelly, here giving you the lowdown, the rundown on what happened in St. Louis City government this week, because my job is to attend the meeting so you don't have to. And I'm going to get right into it, because really the only highlight we had this week was board bill number 2, aka the appropriation of the ARPA coin that the city of St. Louis is getting from the Fed. So really, just the first go round, because we getting what 500 plus meals. So this is just again figuring out how that first round of Fed money is going to be spent in our city. So y'all, first off, the Board of Aldermen held a special meeting on Tuesday to really, hash this board bill out, right? And so, history was made with the longest Board of Aldermen meeting ever. Again, the meeting started at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. It ended at like 10 p.m. that evening. Because again, there's a lot of back and forth about this board bill, right? And how this coin's going to be spent in the city of St. Louis this first go round. And so, I will mention, because again, there were hella amendments presented. Not all of them were passed, but I'm gonna tackle a few because it was a lot. Again, we're talking about a 12-hour meeting. So I would say probably the most interesting amendment was presented by Alderman Collins Muhammad, and this amendment would reintroduce providing $5 million in targeted cash assistance to support St. Louisans that need it the most. So his amendment, it cleaned up the language, and it also laid out more specifics about how this will be rolled out across the city. There was hella back and forth, y'all. Some of it cringeworthy, but nonetheless, a lot of back and forth. I know there was a lot of expressed about making sure that this wasn't just a government, just a bunch of government giveaways, and that people are they really want to empower community members, things of that nature. So I know Aldermen Jeffrey Boyd and Bosley were saying, hey, we need to teach people how to fish, right? We don't just need to be giving people handouts. We need to be making sure that we are really supporting St. Louisans and equipping them with the resources and the tools that they need so they can thrive, right? And I know Alderman Bosley, he was supporting, and there were some other folks that agreed that, if people get $500, that they should be required to attend a financial literacy course through the Office of Financial Empowerment, which that exists through the Treasurer's Office. His thoughts were, and I quote, learn something while you earn something, and education is key, so folks don't just basically piss this money away. Alderwoman Rice, she expressed concerns around just making sure that there was still some flexibility. If, changes needed to be made that conflicted with the language in the bill when it came to the operations of how the program was rolled out. Because as we know, things change, especially when you're rolling out a new program. So, if that language is too specific in the bill, then it may make it difficult for the actual rollout and implementation of it down the road. There's also back and forth. Well, where are we gonna get this money? Is it gonna sit in the treasurer's in the Department of the Treasurer, or is it gonna go to the Department of Human Services? Because they don't have a whole lot of capacity. So is that the best place for it? Yada yada yada. So essentially, there were quite a few changes made to support, to provide better language. And eventually, yes, this amendment, it was approved by the Board of Aldermen. So that $5 million in cash assistance to St. Louisans was, it was placed back into Board Bill number 2. And then I'm going to mention again a few other amendments that were approved by the Board of Aldermen. So Alderwoman Schweitzer presented, language that would support year-round job training programs for teens through Slate and St. Louis Public Schools. That was approved. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard presented some language around supporting a vaccination incentive program that will give prepaid debit cards to folks that get vaccinations, again, to kind of boost up the vaccination rates in the city. That was approved. Also, there is legislation presented by Alderwoman Ingracia increasing funding to support the Cops and Clinicians program. That was approved. Alderman Page provided a suggestion saying that funding should be moved from the Community Development Administration to the Department of Human Services to provide direct services to seniors. That was approved. And then the last thing I kind of want to highlight was the suggestion to provide coin to the Board of Elections for the much needed technological upgrades, and that was approved. So overall, the full board bill number 2, it was perfected with all of those tweaked amendments. So again, the Board of Aldermen perfected it. Yeah, that was a key. However, the next step, the Board of E&A, Estimate and Apportionment, they have to approve the bag, because that's what they do, right? So woo, child. So in the meeting, literally at the beginning of the meeting, Brother Lewis Reed, he jumped out the gate, and he was asking the actor city councilor. His name is Matt Moak, I believe, and he asked him like, bruh, like, why are you saying that this bill is illegal? And so the acting city councilor, aka the city's attorney, right? Moak said, look, I ain't say it was illegal, but this is what I said, and this is direct quote from him. It does not explicitly meet ARPA guidelines, and that's bad practice. So specifically, I believe that he was referring to, there is a section in Board Bill number 2 that goes towards supporting economic development along 4 streets on the north side. So Martin Luther King, North Grand, West Florissant, and Natural Bridge. And they were specifically saying that as the way the language was written or what have you, that it did not meet, again, the guidelines to spend this federal coin. So, yeah, there's a lot of back and forth, about legal analysis, whatever. And, the mayor, Tashara Jones, she was like, look, Lewis, let's work together. Let's figure out how we can tweak this language to make sure, again, that we are fiscally responsible. Because, look, at the end of the day, if we spend this coin and it go against the guidelines, we're gonna be, we're gonna be responsible for paying millions of dollars back. We ain't got millions of dollars to give back to the feds, Lewis. So let's work together and make sure that we're not doing something that could have serious consequences for the city down the road financially. And she was just like, let's tweak the language, let's have a special meeting, another meeting, Board of E&A, to sit down so we can make sure that we get this approved. Because you're just like, we can't approve this if it breaks the requirements of the feds. We not doing that. And Brother Lewis was like, hell to the nah. We ain't changing a damn thing. We done worked on this board bill for 12 hours on a Tuesday. Nah, we ain't changing a damn thing. So he was seeking approval through the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, saying, hey, I recommend we approve this. Can I get a second? And so it was just straight quick crickets. And I'm sitting there, I'm on Zoom or whatever. And I'm like, damn, is my camera frozen or what's going on? And then I look, because people were still moving around. I'm like, oh, damn, it ain't Zoom acting up. Ain't nobody seconding what Brother Lewis is talking about, because they ain't checking for it. They ain't gonna prove it. And so again, that silence, it was loud. Okay, it was loud and clear. And so with that, the meeting adjourned. And Board Bill number 2 is now on pause, y'all, because again, it has to be approved by the Board of E&A before the Board of Aldermen can move on it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, y'all. We'll see. And I'm going to round this out with the legislative corner. So there were a lot of bills passed because the Board of Aldermen, they are going on their summer break because they've been working so hard this session. They'll be going on their summer break today, July 16th, until I think they reconvene in September. So again, I'm not going to mention all of the bills, but just a few. And pretty much all of these bills I have spoken about previously. So y'all should already know what I'm talking about. So there's a bill passed approving a veterans community project supporting housing for veterans in the 19th Ward. There are redevelopments approved, 2 of them. So one in Old North supporting a mixed-use building that had been vacant previously. Another redevelopment plan in the Ville will support Dogtown Frozen Pizza, expanding its operations, utilizing a previously vacant commercial building. There was also a bill passed accepting a grant totaling $60,000 to fund transportation services to two senior centers using electric vehicles. There was a bill passed closing quite a few streets on the north side, including the following. So part of Lexington, close to Kings Highway. Part of San Francisco, close to Kings Highway also. Part of Ashland, close to Marcus. And then part of Greer, close to Union. There's also a bill passed closing 9th Street between Cole and Martin Luther King to expand the convention center, which I remember talking about that too. And then lastly, but certainly not least, bills were passed approving the amended Foundry TIF project, and the TIF awarded for this project totals $18 million. And again, the change is adding 200 market rate apartments to the Foundry. And also in the agreement, in the amended agreement, the developer will give $1.8 million to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and that coin will go to support affordable housing efforts in the 17th Ward as well as north of Delmar. Woo child, y'all. Woo, I'm done. Please have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Again, as I mentioned, the Board of Aldermen, they're going to be having their summer break until sometime in September. So you won't see me at the same time, the same place, but you will still see me. So until then, take care, y'all. Peace.